All right, we're live. Welcome back to another episode of Data Mastery with myself, Jason Reno, and my counterpart here, our VP of Business Development, Jason Hay. We're excited to be here and even more excited to talk about, real-time data enrichment.
Yeah, I actually wanted to do something that we haven't done. I wanted to start asking you questions, kind of flip it around. I know that you're the host, but I just wanted to have some fun with this and ask some questions that I do know that our audience would love to be able to ask, but don't ever get the chance to be able to ask you directly. So I really just wanted to kind of take over if I could.
Yeah, go for it. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Let's just
Awesome.
let's do it and see how the audience reacts, right?
Cool. All right. So, with those that are unfamiliar with the real-time enrichment, can you break it down and give us a reason why our clients would want to use it?
Yeah, I mean, and the simplest way to answer that is it provides more data, more insights into the leads. So real-time data enrichment is taking somebody that fills out a lead ad form or maybe opts into an email like, hey, type in your email and download this free PDF, or, fill out this form and book a call, or, it's basically somebody who's filling out a form and is interested in a business's product or services. Now, if you ask somebody to fill out a very long form, it increases the friction point and reduces the conversion. Because if somebody sees, say, 2 or 3 questions or 4 questions to fill out versus 14 questions, the likelihood that they're going to fill out 14 questions versus 3 questions significantly, decreases the conversion rates. So this allows you to ask just the minimum questions: name, email address, phone number, maybe a zip code or something else. Maybe 1 or 2 other questions to kind of gauge the layer of intent. But then once that form is filled out, I say typically within 5 minutes, but it's really more or less within seconds. I say 5 minutes just to be safe and not overpromise and underachieve. But in 5 minutes or less, we can take that lead, enrich it with, now, again, I say 380 data points, but not everybody wants 380 data points streamed into their CRM. So this is a customized process that we work with the client. So we identify the top 5, 10, maybe 15 data points that somebody would want to know about that prospect before their fulfillment team, before their appointment centers even follow up with them. So instead of just, hey, Jason Reno, I know you just inquired about us. You know that I'm a homeowner, my income bracket, my net worth, if there's kids in the household, if there's a senior in the household, some affinities or interests depending on the product or service that the company is representing. So that way you can have a head start in building rapport and generating that conversion from a lead.
So you're saying that if there's a call center, their CRM will receive this information in minutes, and they can then dial and have more information about that customer or client or potential opportunity than they have ever before, or quicker than ever before. Is that right?
Correct. So so not only do you have more information to build that rapport, but then you could even prioritize the follow-up. So if it's a high volume type of situation where you're getting multiple leads on any given hour or minute or whatever it is, you can now, I don't want to say cherry pick because everybody should be followed up with, but now if you got 3 leads sitting there that came in at the same time and you're selling a high ticket product, let's just say a roof, right? A roofing contractor or something, you're going to follow up with the 2 leads that are verified homeowners that make a certain amount of money versus the guy who's not a verified homeowner. So it allows you to not only prioritize the leads and qualify them, but then also gives you that great data, and feedback. So now you can, again, build rapport.
So how do you see this changing or being the game changer in their business if they started right now?
I mean, it's just all about quality. Right now, there's so much with, Facebook not allowing you to target. Well, I don't want to just pick on Facebook, but any ad platform taking away all of your targeting abilities, right? Which our in-market audiences help with, and that's a different episode. But specifically, it's all about quality, right? It's all about, and that's what we're all about, I should say. You should be all about quality, right? Because, leads don't pay the bills. It's getting that end conversion to pay the bills. And depending on the product that or the services that you're selling, oftentimes the biggest hurdle, the biggest kind of gripe that we hear from businesses right now is, yeah, I'm generating leads, but half of them don't show up to calls. They're the wrong, yeah, exactly. They're the wrong quality people. They're not the right individuals. So this allows you to, scrape out the good ones, disqualify the bad ones, and really focus on quality. And, I know you've heard me say this 1,000 times, but it's like, let's go show you how to hunt with the sniper rifle versus taking the shotgun spray and pray approach. And that's really what we try to focus on, is quality over quantity.
Yeah, I mean, we would always spend more money on quality than quantity any day, for a lead, because the higher conversion opportunity, of course. So how does this, or what does, this impact in real time, the retargeting efforts? So does it actually help the retargeting efforts so that we know we got this in real time? We can go back into the ad platforms quicker and be able to help the retargeting efforts. Is that true?
Absolutely. So we just talked about an actual lead gen, somebody filling out an opt-in form, but we do have the ability to incorporate the real-time enrichment even off of our site traffic, our pixels. So if somebody, let's just say, is getting 10,000 website visitors per month, we're able to identify, let's just say 50%, 5,000 of those individuals. If we could enrich those individuals and only retarget or only segment out and only send back those ones that meet the ICP, that have those 3 to 5 defining data points, whether they be income or whatever they are, and segment out and only send back the good ones for retargeting and exclude the bad ones, then it just makes the process substantially more efficient. I mean, showing an ad, paying money to show an ad to somebody who has only visited your site, in theory sounds great. Like, hey, somebody who's interested, they visited the site, but if they didn't convert that first time around, there's a slew of reasons maybe they did not convert. One of them could just be that they didn't qualify. They came to your site and were like, okay, this is either too expensive, this isn't a good fit, whatever it is. Right. But if we have your ICP defined by data points, now we can say, hey, only segment and send individuals back to our retargeting platforms, whether it be Facebook, programmatic ads, or what we like to do and create that omni-channel presence. But just like we do with the leads, we can do the same thing with the site visitor traffic. So now your ad spend is only going to individuals that hit your site and met 3 to 5 certain data points that match them with your ICP, your ideal client profile. So now you're not taking that spray and pray approach and just retargeting everybody that hits your site, but let's be as efficient as possible, and only target individuals that have hit your site and qualified. And mind you, Facebook and the other ad platforms hate this shit because they want you to retarget everybody. The more people that you retarget, the more ad spend you have to spend. And, they're not really concerned with your end conversions. They're just concerned with, getting people to click, right? And then the problem with that is then their algorithms optimize based off those clicks, not knowing whether or not they're actually a qualified client. So the more data that we can feed back into the algorithms based off, hey, these are our qualified clients, let's retarget those. And then the ones that aren't qualified, you don't just trash those, you actually can take the ones that aren't qualified, the site traffic, and create exclusion audiences. So now Facebook has 2 different data set, or I'm saying Facebook or Meta, but it's really any ad platform. Now the ad platforms have 2 different data sets to utilize. Hey, here's the good data that we want to optimize and find more of those. But then here's the bad clicks, the individuals that hit the site and didn't qualify. Let's prevent our ads from being shown to people like this. So now you have, most people forget about the exclusion audiences.
I love the exclusion list. Like that's
it's almost like double dipping with your data. Like everybody's so focused on, oh, here's the right clients. Well,
the winners.
The algorithm benefits a lot from knowing who your wrong clients are too, and most people forget about that.
Yeah. So what impact does real-time actually, have on these privacy concerns that are changing and evolving with the U.S. government as of January of this year?
Yeah, I mean, all the data we have is all, public US consumer data. So it's not that it's, not necessarily available. It's just we built this database, this identity graph, and have, ready access to it. And we have the AI softwares and the tools to take the site traffic. And obviously, you jump on websites nowadays and you have the banners pop up, and we're able to hide, or not hide, but put our pixel behind those different banners. So if somebody logs onto your site or visits your site and they accept or no comply, where, is a form of acceptance, then the pixel fires, right?
Right.
But if they click decline, then the pixel won't fire, and we won't, be able to capture, or the pixel won't fire and we won't capture data on those individuals.
Yeah, that's good to know. I think that a lot of people are, concerned on how that information is going to be supplied back to them, and is it legal? So thank you for clarifying that.
A lot of it too just has to deal with how the company handles it. Like if you're Captain Creepy about it, and I say Captain Creepy where it's just like one, you obviously have to follow the laws. Like if you're a B2C brand and you're just going to pick up the phone and call somebody right after they bounce off your site, or text message them or something along those lines, then you're going to get yourself into some deep water that you can't swim in. But now if you do it strategically, where you're emailing these individuals and giving them unsubscribe links and following the Canned Spam Act and everything else, then you're golden. Or better yet, if you're even uncomfortable emailing these individuals, there's still 6 different ad platforms, including programmatic marketing, that you can get these individuals back to your site with and get them to engage with. And, another thing too is we hide the pixel behind timers. So if somebody visits your website and they're there for, say, 3 seconds or less, or under 8 seconds, whatever the timing mechanism we want to use, this allows us to also exclude bots. So if a bot just clicks your site for 3 seconds or less, the pixel's not going to fire, and we're not going to capture, that bot or that false data. By hiding the pixel behind, say, a 10-second timer, somebody actually has to visit your site, hang out for 10 seconds, scroll around, click to another page before the pixel fires. So now it adds an additional layer of intent. So it's, we don't have to get every single click to the site. And I say that because we don't want every single click to the site. We don't want bots, and we don't want low intent users. Again, quality over quantity.
So what you're telling me is that within all the information that Meta and Facebook are offering, there's bots in there? Like, is that what you're telling me?
I'm not saying that exactly, but I mean, there's a high probability.
There is.
I mean, it's even like, do you want somebody, let's just say it's a real human being, but somebody accidentally clicked on an ad. Like you've seen it before. You go to try to scroll and you accidentally click the learn more button, and you're like, oh shit, I just went to the website. Right. And then all of a sudden you're getting more ads from that business when it was an accidental click, and you literally spent 1 second or less on the website. So yes, there's definitely ways to prevent that, ways to get around that. The main thing is it's a white box audience. You get to see the data, you get to touch it, you get to analyze it, you get to talk to it, you get to do whatever you want with the data. And when I say talk to it, is we have some cool AI tools that you can literally talk to your data and learn more about your data than you might even care to know. And then with Facebook or TikTok or any of these other ad platforms, it's all a black box. It's hey, here's some loose demographics about your data, and give us a bunch more money, and we're just going to retarget everybody. And it works great for them. That's how Zuckerberg and all these guys are making billions and billions of dollars. All these businesses are just like, take my money, and fingers crossed for conversions. And yes, you need to advertise on these ad platforms, but you need to learn how to do it. Or in my opinion, businesses need to learn how to do it strategically, because when we end up working with businesses, we often find that I'm going to use the number like 30 to 40% of their ad spend is wasted. And we can literally prove that by showing them that their site traffic, that 30 to 40% of their site traffic doesn't even meet their ICP. Their messaging's off, their ads are off, their targeting's off. There's so much to learn from this. And the data just, kind of shows you all those pitfalls or roadblocks that are happening.
I got one last question. And this one I think is a good one. What advice do you give businesses that aren't leveraging real-time enrichment yet, and why are they falling behind?
Well, I mean, the simple answer is if you're not doing it, your competition's probably doing it, because it is, it is something that is, more and more businesses are, becoming preview to what's available to them. And if you're spending, 25, 50, $100,000 a month on ads, as you scale, the waste scales with it, right? So if you're spending $3,000 a month on ads, and 10 20% is being wasted, it's like, okay, no big deal. But if you're spending $100,000 a month on ads, and I'm telling you that 30% or $30,000 of your hard-earned money is being wasted, it's a big deal. And it makes a big difference when when you have the economies of scale. So the more you're spending, or the more you're trying to spend and scale to, the more important this is. And then, again, the simple answer is if you're not going to do it, your competition's going to be doing it. So it's like, do you want to be wasting your time with bad data, bad leads, and, people that are just, what we call window shoppers that aren't ever going to buy? Or do you really want to focus in and, go hunting with that sniper rifle, let your competition do the spray and pray approach?
We met with a potential client, and I mean, for them to spend $3 million a month and spend that money and 30% of it being wasted, and they just use it as like, oh, well, that's the cost of doing business, right? I mean, for us to be able to point that out very quickly.
It is crazy how acceptable it is, where they're just like, we're going to write it off anyway. And, we're still getting good enough ROASs and ROIs and that kind of stuff. And it's just like, well, really, and that's what people, they're sometimes taken back, where it's like, look, you don't necessarily need to spend more. Like, our goal isn't to come in and say, hey, you're spending 100,000, let's hurry up and go spend 150,000. It's no, let's take a step back and show you how to spend that 100,000 more efficiently. Work on, improving creatives to drive better traffic to the site. Work on your fulfillment process, because, like Hormozy loves to say this, where it's like, if you could scale based off your top 20% and focus on those clients, that's how you scale and take your business to the next level, is continue to sell to the top 20%, your high ticket clients, your ones that are coming back and recurring clients, things like that. But if you don't know and you can't define that top 20%, how are you going to talk to them? How are you going to duplicate and find more of that 20% without the data?
Yeah, I mean, you think about this: the average business grows 8% per month or per year, right? I mean, that's the average, and it's probably because they're not taking that top 20% and scaling off of that. What they're doing is using the advertising waste and so on and so forth as part of their, lack of growth, unfortunately, taking that opportunity and being able to put it into the right trajectory moving forward. I mean, gosh, 8% seems low.
Especially with today and all the advancements and everything that you have available. I mean, if 8% is all your business is scaling or growing, then obviously you're not being aggressive enough, or you're just not doing things correctly. There's definitely a lot of opportunity out there with data and with the multiple things that we're doing within our data solutions platform that can definitely help scale and grow more than 8% a year. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I love it. I always find this to be fun when we do it, and I like that you allowed me to take back over.
At least we're not wearing matching shirts. My wife was talking crap because one of the episodes we both had like green ones on, and she's like, "You guys didn't even change your shirt or think about that."
Well, you know what? It's always fun to do it, and I enjoy it, and I think that the listeners get more and more out of it, and we just want that to be the case. So anything that we can do to be able to get more information in front of you as the audience is really our goal.
Absolutely. And then, I mean, if you have any questions or anything, I mean, it's absolutely free. We love to just, if you are spending that $25,000 a month or more on ads, if you're having trouble scaling, if you're having trouble finding that right audience, or you're dealing with low quality leads, any number of the problems that we've been able to kind of identify and go over here on this call, I mean, click DataDiscovery.AI, book a call with us, and we'd love to see if we're a win-win and see if we can help you scale and manage that ad spend a little bit better and scale over 8% a year. I mean, let's have like a 50 to 100% target, and we'll show you how to get there.
Love it. Thank you.
Perfect. Appreciate everybody watching, and appreciate everybody who's subscribed up until this point, and talk to everyone soon.